Hi guys, and welcome back to another edition of the Thomian Legion podcast. Today we have with us members of our very own staff. So first of all, we have our sub-warden, Mr. Asanka Pereira, Mrs. Inoka Mututantri Pereira, Mrs. Mevanti Fernando, Mrs. Anne Senaviratna, and Reverend Roshan Mendis, who is our associate chaplain. I'm Manjika Fernando, and I will be moderating today's conversation. So, leading up to big match, while the boys are having their fun, the teachers are the ones who have to handle them and handle the discipline in class. So, what do you all think? How does everyone's attitude change? How does the atmosphere change from a normal school day during March Madness?
To start things off, unlike other years, this year has been obviously very much calm. But in other years, the lead up to the big match has been a lot of fun. Fun because boys, you can see them getting excited over the period of time. It starts from even January, February, March. By the time we come to the end of February, they're getting excited. Right? So it's good to see that. Of course, you have the few misdemeanors coming in place which we deal with. That's the another new thing. But what's exciting is that it's not just the seniors or just one set of boys. It's not one medium of subjects. It's not one religion. It's just everyone, all Thomians, irrelevant, irrespective of what grade they are in, irrespective of what language they follow, what religion they are. Everyone from low school right up to actually starts from nursery right up to the level. Everyone is so excited. So one of the most exciting times for me is seeing the nursery kids coming in. Once a year they make an announcement. They walk in through the pool with the Palm Beach gate. They walk around the quadrangle with their little flags, red, blue, and black, girls and boys, and they go to the chopper steps and we take a picture there. And it's just fun to watch that, right? So nursery right up to the levels, everyone is excited. The entire school is booming. You can't do work in class. They don't want to do work in class, but that's what it is. And it's nice to see that once things calm down after the end of the match, things settle down into the classroom. So that's one of the things I experienced.
Miss Mevanti?
Yeah, for me, I think the most symbolic thing is this person who sells these flags and things outside.
Thanks.
The minute I remember even my brothers, he was Karti.
Karti.
So they would bring stuff. I would get them to bring some flags home for me to have, to put out of the school van. So that's the start of the season for me. So everyone will be buying friendship bands and all of that, and then that just starts.
Air horns.
It goes on.
The flags of school vans is very
Yes.
interesting.
And then the Pete tries to try to flick them.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
We try to flick our own.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we try to find Thomians that we know, telling them to go and buy us something
Yes.
from, like especially the
The
gollywog.
golly,
I still
yes.
remember, collecting all the gollywogs. It was real fun.
So just so you all know, Miss Inoka, Miss Mevanti, and Miss Anne all have been coming for big match since they were school children, to be honest. And they're very close to school. They still bring their children, and when they come on their own to watch the match. So, Miss Anne, from school days, how has big match evolved over the past few years?
To me, I think the atmosphere and the feeling in the air is still the same. Like I remember as a school girl, I was someone who really looked forward for the month of March, especially waiting for the Thomian trucks to come down Retreat Road, and that was the worst time for the nuns and the teachers, and trying to lock us in. The windows are facing Retreat Road, but our classrooms would be closed, and them running around trying, but somehow we would succeed opening one window even and throwing money or not. That is the difference I find, because
Throwing money.
those
She
days
used to throw
they
the
used to
money
come
out.
with their hats. It was a hat collection.
Yeah,
So we used to
yeah.
collect these coins and somehow throw it in, and the boys would clamor to get the money. So it was a hat going around with their hats collecting money. So that was really fun. And as a schoolgirl, I recall two incidents which I thought I would like to share with you. As a mere 10-year-old or 11, I'm not really sure, and I'm not sure whether it is the PSARA or the SSC. I was at the match and taking my father's precious the silk flag. The silk flags are very, not many people had. It was very expensive to normal cotton. So he had these all folded up, and he told me take care of it. So I'm at the match, and suddenly, out of the blues, these royalists come and they flick my flag, and I'm like, and they run. And the next thing I know is I'm running after them, and they
I've
ran
done the
round.
same.
Huh?
I've done the same
Really,
thing.
I ran round and finally I end up and I look up the scoreboard. I don't know how I got there, and then they started passing my flag around. And the next thing I know is I push this guy next to me, right? He's on the ground. I just grab the flag back and I run back. So I didn't even want to look back to see whether anybody was following me. So that was that, and the next was when I was 16 years old. It's a bit funny though. But I didn't really remember this incident till Suren actually met me at one of the recent matches when his son was captaining, and he said, "Hey, do you remember how you poured the Fanta on me?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, what happened was he was a college prefect, right? And he had words all the time because he was one of the senior debaters. So he used to always tease us, and it never ends. His teasing never ends, and he was going on. He had this college, your cane.
The cane hat.
Yeah, and he's tired and all, and now he's going on and like, please, Suren, stop it. No, he doesn't. So I said, okay, you don't stop it. I'm going to pour this on you. And he said, you dare? I'm daring you. You won't. And I'm one of the people. If you dare me, I'll do it. And I actually poured it on him, right? And I can see him, mortified there with his college thing and Fanta pouring on him. And so anyway, for the prefects, I'm giving all a warning. Please don't dare girls at the match, because there may be somebody like me who might take the dare and do it, and I don't think you would want Fanta or Coca-Cola on you, definitely.
That's
so
true.
those are true.
The hot sun and Fanta and Coca-Cola don't mix.
So he remembered it and he asked me. So that was, I think, one of the fun times I recall.
Miss Inoka, how has it been for you? The whole
Well, as
experience?
growing up as a schoolgirl, same school as Miss Anne, I mean, we were always used
Not
to.
the best one, but
We'll have that debate later. We were always locked up. When they hear the trucks coming, so we would as girls always look forward to the match season. But we were always, if we were in the classroom, we had to close the windows, make sure the doors are locked. But on one particular occasion, I remember when the Thomians jumped in, we were all out. We were doing our sports practices for the sports meet, and the nuns were helpless and they were just running around with sticks trying to chase the boys out. So that was one of the memorable incidents from my childhood that I remember. But being here as a teacher, I must say, as a schoolgirl, it was we always look forward to this season, but now to actually be a teacher here in the school that we always supported as children, it's another experience altogether. The atmosphere, and to be in the thick of it, and to be actually participating in the cycle parade, which we used to look from the
Yes.
outside as schoolgirls, is actually a lovely experience. So.
We really miss it now because now we don't appreciate it, but now when it's
But I
not
think
there,
next time we will appreciate it that much
definitely,
more.
because March means the flags coming out, and especially what I really like is when the 1:30 bell rings, they'll all crowd into one of the upper 6 classes and they go THORA and then they come running to the chapel steps, and then again the Tora Para goes. So, we really miss it. It's like so quiet now in school, month of March.
So, cycle parade in our time at least did not turn off at Vellavata.
Okay.
It turned off in front of their school.
Yes, I remember that.
And we made it a point to make it there by 1:30. We turned off near Vajra Road and come back. That was our turn off point. So we made sure we went there and we were there for 1:30.
See, there were enough Thomians to come to Holy
Definitely.
at that time.
Now can you see, right? So
Because it was a little too far. That was the
that would have been the preferred option, right?
So things have changed because my time, the cycle parade went to the captain's house.
Captain,
where
that's
we
what I've
stayed.
heard, yes,
And the
yes.
captain would give you some food then.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Father, now that happens at the
After the match.
After the match, they used to go to the captain's house, but I think latterly that also stopped, and it ended up.
That's how traditionally the cycle parade started, right? Where they would cycle to the captain's house. No, yeah. My father used to talk about that, about how they cycled. Now it's more about trucks
Yeah.
and things.
Yeah.
So those,
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
no longer
Those are
cycle
changed.
Yes.
parade.
I remember as house prefects,
they still do, right?
Still do. We still do that.
Run the entire distance up to Bumblebee Dam and go, right? Not relevant.
We are not allowed to go past Vellavan. So I think I need to make that point here.
Otherwise you
Someone
would,
might-
right?
Yeah, we would, obviously,
In
we
a
would.
truck. Did you
Was
ever
I
go
in a truck?
truck? Did you ever go
Yes.
trucking? And if you were never
Ever.
really like to
Even
know to
once.
what school was your first jump?
I have to honestly say I did not go trucking. I did not. Many of my batchmates did. Actually, 90 of my batchmates in our Colby here were restrained at Cinnamon Gardens. And I'll have an anecdote on that. But anyway, it ended up in the newspapers because I'm not going to mention names, but there was an influential person in a batch lower to us, and he was also part of this group which got caught. And but they were let go, of course, by the evening. But stories coming from what happened there at Cinnamon Garden. Apparently, the building was not enough to accommodate 90 boys.
So many.
The building or the room they were supposed to be in couldn't accommodate them. So instead, they were allowed to just scatter and sit wherever, right? So there were boys going through books of
Police
of-
records.
police records, basically. And this one guy, I feel very sorry for him. He had to sit and take down 90 accounts of each boy of what took place. So he was sitting there writing one by one, and all 90 had to give the statement. But it was fun. That no harm, no foul. Basically, they spent the afternoon there, and they all came back to college in the same bus they went in. It was good fun. It's just that over the years, it had become morphed into something which was less fun. But I also know, and I'm going to, if I send the link to this video, I'm going to get scolded. But I also know, Navat, you can verify the story. My sister, who was in the same school as Navat,
Same batch.
used to tell us stories about how they wait
Yes.
longingly
Oh my
for
gosh,
the boys
yes.
to come and jump into school.
And we used to have this Bava block, which was lockable. The other sections you could just, and only the grade 8s were housed in that.
Right.
And they used to make sure they hide the lock every morning. On the day of the cycle parade, the lock would go missing. So so that the boys could come in. We used to, my gosh, that
Very
was like the
interesting.
highlight for the term.
But interestingly, I was told that I don't know whether it's oddly peculiar to St. Thomas's, but Thomins could never find the block where the A-level
A-level
boys were. They ended up jumping
They're in the kindergarten. Any school they jump to, that's what actually happens. They run towards the kindergarten block rather than the A-level block.
And the kids go
And the
screaming, right?
kids go screaming, and the A-level girls are just longing there, waiting for everyone to come back.
And they'll be like peeping from windows and
So yeah, other than that, even Father Roshan and Miss Anne both have a personal connection to the match and to the teams themselves. Father Roshan's son, Johan Mendes, was the vice captain of the 2016 First 11 team, and Miss Anne's son, Ashan Pires, was the captain of the 2007 First 11 team, where we won the match. So, Father Roshan, Miss Anne, do you all have any memories from those times, and where you all actually learned how much the team works and how hard they work? Do you all have any insight into that?
Before I get on a serious note, can I
Yeah.
go back to the flags?
No.
I have an embarrassing scene because I used to come back from prep school in those days there were school vans, there were a lot of cars. So I remember this Morris Minor, and I was putting my flag out from the car. And can you believe a girls' school van?
flipped your flag.
My flag. I tried to trace it for a while, but just take it
Morris
away.
Minor.
Father, I did better than I
Morris
did.
Minor
I
got
had
away.
my flag and I got my flag back.
Father Roshan, how was your experience as a
Like Miss Anne said, God blessed us with the son to play cricket. It meant a lot to me because I was called cricket pizza in school. I used to play good cricket at the back of the class. My books, exercise books had all the score sheets. But I never had the talent of playing. I never made it into any sports team actually. It was crazy on sports. So Johan had most of his education at prep, always looking forward to hopefully play a Royal Thornium. But the first year was challenging because there were a lot of, I think almost 9 players who came from other schools and actually wanted to give up. He said no chance, and I had to sort of push him to stay on, saying we want to play soccer. So I said if you want to play soccer, you should have gone to Zaire or something. You don't come here, just to keep him in the game. So I think took the challenge well. I think the first year with 4 games to go for the Royal Thornium, he got a break, and he scored 2 50s in the first 2 games. I think and sealed his place. But the most memorable one, of course, was 2016, the year he was captain. Because even after getting 350 plus, we lost the game. Unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
Oh, that was
That was the
yeah.
year.
Oh, it's
But the
same
memory
as
that
you
I
think.
think will last forever in my mind was that first wicket partnership, Eddie Thopa, the 197, which broke the 1932 record, I think, of a high scoring first wicket partnership. So every time I get the new Sony, I always I know it's there.
always look for
Always
it.
love looking at it. Thopa got 100, Johan got 68.
Subborn, sir. So you have also been a college prefect and organized big match at that level, and now you're a subborn in the 10 committee and you're organizing joint committee and organizing it at that level. How big of a difference is it?
Well,
Is it as stressful?
so it's of course more stressful now in the present scenario, because now we need to bother about umpire selections and whatnot. What else could go wrong and make sure things are in order. Because the selection of the umpires is very crucial, and should we get not so good umpires, then the entire game could be at jeopardy. And we wouldn't want that, because these 11 boys, at least from our side, have been practicing day night. It's not fair if you don't give them a fair chance to play. But it was good fun as being in the 10 committee as well. That's when you got to call the shots, or so you thought. Or so you thought, because sometimes you're allowed to call those shots
And you'll get overruled after.
and you get overruled afterwards. Absolutely.
Talking with experience.
That's something we don't know about.
Yeah.
That's really
So it's you know the more that you know as well that it's the college prefects who organize the cycle parade. Staff don't get involved. Warden, sub-warden don't get involved except for guidance, but it's the prefects who run the entire show. And then that was the same for us as well. Unfortunately for us in 2005, I do not use the word unfortunate, but we couldn't have we didn't want to have a cycle parade, because that was a few months after the 2004 26th December. So as a sign of mourning, we wanted to not have to cancel the cycle parade. And we went into the match 2005. You have a good memory of that match. 2005, we went into the match. We were told we can't have a papara band. We could not have music, but we went into the match only
the
to
black
find.
bands. Is that the one? No,
Not that one. But we went into the match without a papara band in the boys' tent, only to find that all the other tents had bands. Right? That was so unfair. So we fought and finally got our way through, and then second day and third day, we finally got to get a band. So second day, so first day was fabulous, second day was fabulous. You know, dance about it.
Yeah.
We don't watch the match. Like, we
That's
don't watch the match. And I am one of those. I don't want to say I'm bored with it, but I don't quite watch the match. I completely turn myself towards the boys' tent and sing and dance and whatever. Anyway, second day went on without a fuss, except for a few hiccups here and there. Because of the hiccups which took place the previous day, our head prefect kept us in school and gave us a massive shelling just before the third day, just before we left for the third day match. Only to find that we got into the bus after the shelling. went towards SSC. Just as we were round in the corner, turning into Maitland Crescent, we get the call saying, match has finished, where are you?
Oh my god.
It was over
There
so
was the match.
soon.
You all wanted
By 10
that?
o'clock,
They won.
by 10
Yeah.
o'clock on the third day morning, we won the match.
Again by innings.
Single, right? So we were not even there to watch the end. So we were all cursing our head treatment my good friend, by the way. Anyway, so we got out of the bus and we just dashed in. There was no one checking tickets, nothing whatever whatsoever. We just dashed in and we ran right across the field and into the players' enclosure, and then we started cheering. But unfortunately, we were not there to see the end of the match, and we got scolded for that.
Getting scolded for, and also missing the last part of the
Yes.
match. I think that's
Wow.
very,
That's the
very
best, I
We
know.
were
It's
actually
very
trying- we were
unfortunate.
actually trying to make contact with the dressing room and saying, hold on. We were bowling. So we were
Yeah.
trying to get the wickets out. So
Ah,
we were telling, hang on, don't get the last wicket, hang on, wait.
But
Yeah,
we were just
until-
falling. I mean,
It was just- it was
I know
falling.
BS
It
Event
was
just sat after a while. It was over. People were coming into the grounds. So
Yeah.
both times we won in 2005 and 7, we won in the morning. So
That's-
by about 11 o'clock, the match was over.
So it's obviously different experiences, but it's been good fun, and to be able to organize or be part of the organizing committee of such a match, it's definitely. I remember my first year I came back after the match and the badge I wore as joint committee. I remember looking at my 10th committee badge and my joint committee badge and thinking, what a difference.
actually
Been through the hobby.
seen a victory at both
Seen the
instances.
victory of both instances, yes. But I've seen a loss on my first year summer when I saw the loss in 2016. So I'm thinking, am I unlucky? Like I wasn't.
I think we are nearing the end of today's podcast, but before we wrap up for today's edition, one thing I know for a fact is that Shaleen and the entire team have been practicing extremely hard, and given the current circumstances with the COVID regulations and the change in location, it's an entirely new ball game. So, Miss, do you all have any wishes for them? Any word of advice for them before they go into this match?
Shaleen, I wish you and your team all the very best. Just remember, just play fair and square. And just remember that the shield is where it belongs.
Shaleen, if you're listening to this is a very different year. Play your best at all times and do your best. But I would also say enjoy the game. This is the last time you get to sit to play the match as a first 11 cricketer. From this point onwards, after you finish this, you'll be known as old boys. So just enjoy the game, enjoy your time out there. Yes, of course, do your best. Yes, do your best to retain the shield. Of course, win the shield and retain it as well. But if it is not to be, it's not to be. That's fine. Please don't stress yourself out too much thinking about the end result. Think about the journey, and the journey for you has been a tough one, and for that we are absolutely proud of you, and we encourage you as much as possible. Take the team forward and do your best at all times when you are out in the field. Once you finished it, come out, enjoy whatever the result. Let's enjoy it.
On behalf of everyone organizing the podcast and the 10 committee, I wish to thank Subwan Sir, Miss Inoka, Miss Mevanti, Miss Anne and Father Roshan for coming today. And I also wish the team a very good luck going into the big match. And want to thank you all for watching. Tune in for our next podcast, which will be out in a few days. Thank you.